show in Las Vegas radio. Coming to you live from the KDWN studios on South Durango. Pawn Talk Live. Hosted by the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney. And the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas, Michael Mack. Call in at 257-5396. That's 257-5396. And find out what your valuables are worth from the top expert in the pawn industry. Now, Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
All right, here we are for Pawn Talk Live. Dave Carney joined by Michael Mack, owner of the world-famous Max Pawn. And thanks so much for sticking with us here through Live Las Vegas. Big show for you guys today here on Pawn Talk Live. We are going to be talking, Michael, about the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow coming up March 30th through April 1st at the Palace Station Hotel and Casino, and a huge event, Michael. This is going to be an opportunity for anybody with watches, jewelry, diamond, coins, art, collectibles to come down and sell their stuff on site. Unbelievable.
Well, you know, Dave, they've had these road shows before where dealers come in from out of state and they come in and offer opportunities to sell your coins and jewelry. There's never been an event like this here in Las Vegas where you can sell a designer handbag. We're opening it up to luxury goods. We're going to have artwork appraisers there. We're going to have firearms experts there, antique firearms, because we can't do modern-day firearms without our dealer's license. You have to go to the store for that.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we're opening it up. It's going to be great. It's going to be 3 days. Palace Station. It's the ultimate location right off, the 15 there in Sahara.
Yep.
I think both sides of town, if you live up in Anthem or you live in Summerlin, it's easy to reach.
Oh, well, it's a fantastically easy spot to reach. It's in the heart of town, easy to get off of the freeway, like you said, Michael. And the great thing about Palace Station is, too, everybody knows where it is. I mean, it's one of those iconic places in town. You know, sometimes you think Red Rock, you're like, geez, how far away is that? Palace Station, easy to find, and really known for putting on these great big events, in their showrooms and stuff. So fantastic news to hear that you are bringing the Great Estates Roadshow to us here in Las Vegas. And hopefully we get to, really talk about this more as the weeks go on. But hopefully this is something, Michael, that as it expands, you're able to bring outside of Las Vegas. Now, is there a chance that could happen, too, that you could take this with you to California, to Arizona, to Colorado, New Mexico?
Well, the format is set for Las Vegas, and we're going to test it here in the Las Vegas market. But we believe that there is a demand out there in the U.S. for these type of things. Pawn Talk Live, really, Dave, is the entry point that's made us think about this, because we get so many phone calls. We have so many inquiries down at Max Pawn about rare collectibles, artwork. We had Frank Sinatra's boots turned in. So, those type of opportunities that we can bring multiple appraisers in, make it easy, accessible right in the center of town for everyone to get to. We just think it's going to be a great benefit to the city as well as those people who are selling items.
It's really going to be fantastic for those people selling items. You talk about a perfect time of the year, Michael. Here we are, springtime, spring cleaning events, and not just spring cleaning events, but really these life-altering type of events that have to do with, tax time, right? So a lot of us, independent business owners especially, you come up on tax time. It's not like it is for a whole bunch of other people where you go, you file one piece of paper and you get a couple of grand back. If you're an independent business guy, a lot of times you're having to pay a whole lot in taxes. And Michael, this is one of the opportunities that comes pre-tax time for some folks that have, high-end pieces of art, the handbags, the watches, the jewelry, the diamonds, to be able to liquidate some of this stuff in perfect time to send off a check to the IRS. Unbelievably well done there.
Well, we have a partner involved in this, and Alan Richardson. You met Alan. He's out of the Florida area, and he's coming with over $2 million to help us spend here in the Las Vegas Valley.
Man, I'll take some of that $2 million. I got to come up with something neat, though, to sell. That's going to be the only thing. They're like, nobody wants your bronzed booties, Dave, when you were a kid. I thought, maybe they're worth something.
Take them, Dave.
We've got a huge show for you guys, though, besides talk just about the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow, which we're going to be talking about throughout the episode. We're going to get online with gun expert Ray from the world-famous Max Pawn at about 2:15. Ray is going to talk to us a little bit about gun safety, gun storage, and about some of the prices for firearms down at the world-famous Max Pawn. We're then going to open up our Collector's Corner and ask you guys out here in Las Vegas to call us up with anything that you might have that of any collectible interest. So if it's something that maybe your mom left to you, grandma, an antique or heirloom you found while, going out thrift store shopping. Maybe it's something that you found at another pawn store. You want to tell us about it. We want to hear about it at 257-5396. Now, Michael, like we were doing with Live Las Vegas, everybody that calls us today on Pawn Talk Live is going to be a winner. There's prizes down at the world-famous Max Pawn. Tell us about that.
Well, Dave, of course, anyone who calls in, we want to offer a prize. We have the treasure chest down at Max Pawn. And, rather than picking out a prize for you, we're going to allow you to come down and choose your own gift. And for today's best story, maybe it might be a pawn-related story. It's about another pawn shop. Maybe you have an item. Dave and I are going to vote at the end of the show, and we're going to give away of course, the $25 gift card for Subway.
Wow, that's fantastic. And remember, Subway, eat fresh. Now, today, guys, I had myself a little veggie delight from Subway on 9-grain honey oat. It was great. $3, zero fat. I mean, maybe there's 1 gram of fat in it, and really low calories. So if you're looking to eat fresh and stay healthy, you got to go to Subway. And we appreciate Subway and their support of our Subway Fresh Take Hotline. Again, the number 257-5396, 257 KDWN gets you online here with Michael Mack. Now, Michael, we do this every single week here. I'd like to ask you to break down listeners that may be just joining us for the first time a little bit about Pawn and what we like to call Pawn 101.
It's interesting, Dave. Every day when people come into Max Pawn, they're kind of, blown away. Of course, when you see Max Pawn, it doesn't look like your typical pawn shop. I had one of our good mutual friends, Erica Christensen from Habitat for Humanity, come in this morning. I gave her and one of her associates a tour of our facility. And, it's really enlightening because people don't understand pawn. Pawn is to get a loan, a collateral loan on an item that you own and that you get back. And the difference between pawning and selling an item is that you do have the ability to get your item back. You get a amount of money, you pay interest back to us, and you return and you get your item. If you sell it outright, and then we return and sell it to someone else. But that's the difference. And then Erica was blown away, like I said, and we're going to do some partnerships with Habitat for Humanity and help them when people make donations to Habitat for Humanity. We're going to help appraise items that maybe their associates don't know, and we offer that service to the Salvation Army as well as Goodwill here in Las Vegas.
That's fantastic. And the Habitat for Humanity's a partner in the selling of these donated items called the Restore is their branch outlet where they do sell that. So fantastic partnership with Max Pawn yet again. Another one of the community events you're dipping your toes in here. But it's great to see because they need that kind of help. And that's, again, Michael, what we're here to do on the show is offer this kind of help to the folks out here in Las Vegas who may have a question, any question, no matter how big or how small it is, about one of your items. Maybe this is, like I said, an heirloom that has been passed down through the family. Maybe it's something that you just uncovered. Who knows? You may be walking around your property in Northern California, stumble upon $10 million worth of gold. We want to hear about it. I want to find out where you are and make you an offer first, too. But if you happen to find gold, find anything, give us a call, 257-5396. And like Michael said, everybody that calls us today is a winner. They get to pick out a prize, courtesy of Beasley Broadcasting and Max Pawn down at the world-famous Max Pawn 6040 West Sahara. Now, Michael, coming up later on the show, we're also going to be talking a little bit about jewelry in our jewelry report, and we're also going to hear from Tony Gallo, a securities expert. Now, tell us a little bit about Tony and what we're going to be discussing with him on some security procedures.
Well, Tony's an old pal from my years at Easy Corp when I was working with them in the late 80s, early 90s, and I was fortunate to go to work for one of the largest publicly held pawn chains in America, and that's Easy Pawn, Easy Corp. And Tony and I got to be friendly. He was the director of securities and loss prevention for Easy Pawn. He had a long tenure, just recently left Easy Pawn, I think after 20-plus years, and he opened up his own securities company. And they promote and go around the country and consult jewelry stores, pawn shops on security measures, robbery prevention, robbery tips, and in case you do get robbed, what do you do?
Yeah.
And Tony will give us some great tips when he gets on.
Now that's going to be a fantastic listen here because, as you had mentioned during Live Las Vegas, Michael, while we're covering a story here about a metro shooting up on North Rancho, the smash and grab business is picking right back up, and this is something that we think dies off as technology grows, but again, I mean, the most basic of the robberies still go on quite a bit, and Tony and his firm are going to be instrumental, I'm sure, in helping steer many jewelry, many pawn shops, many consignment stores away from getting robbed. So it's always good to talk to somebody like that. Now, coming up also later on the show, we are going to be taking some phone calls and really dealing, Michael, with gold and guns, okay? So I want to know what the idea is here from our Las Vegas listeners about gold and guns and which is more valuable. Because as the times have changed here, especially over the last 18 months, 2 years, we've noticed gold not match the market. Guns, on the other hand, are taking quite an uptick. So going to be interested to hear what our listeners think about gold or guns. What is more valuable? We have to step away, take our first look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. When we come back, we're going to get online with Ray, our resident gun expert. Later on, Tony Gallo in security. Stay tuned to KDWN 720 AM.
And at 2:15 in the KDWN One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, still have a couple of issues to deal with on Interstate 15. Southbound of Russell, also the ramp as you leave northbound 15 to go northbound 95. And yes, it's race weekend, which always means a lot of traffic, particularly on Sunday heading to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Best advice if you're heading to the track is always leave early, stay late, and avoid I-15 north of the Spaghetti Bowl if you don't need to use it. Something new this year is the Lucky 7 parking lot. That's the only paid parking at the track. Race officials have added 3 dedicated exit lanes for that lot following the Saturday and the Sunday races. For the KDWN One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Waste money on rent when you can own again. With our New Start Mortgage, we can help you own your dream home again, even if other mortgage companies have turned you down. Call 827-3880 to speak with a mortgage specialist or visit onenevada.org for current rates and details. One Nevada is open to all Clark County and Pahrump residents. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
It's a new year, so you deserve a new you. Wouldn't it be nice to finally quit worrying about crooked or missing teeth? If you've been putting it off for a while because of the cost, then you should see Dr. Miracondia and his staff at AQ Denture in Henderson, because AQ stands for affordable quality. Dental implants, dentures, or dental services are more affordable than you think. Call AQ today at 702-565-6000. That's 702-565-6000 and smile again. Call AQ 702-565-6000.
Hey Las Vegas, it's Al B. Shore and the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney. Join us for the best that Las Vegas has to offer. Entertainment, sports, dining, and nightlife. Live in Las Vegas. Tune in every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. on News Talk 720 KDWN.
If you're looking to lower your mortgage payments and been turned down elsewhere, you need to listen to Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels this Sunday from 6 to 7 a.m. Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney, joined by the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn and now my co-host on 37 of the 40 radio programs throughout the week I do, Michael Mack. And Michael, great to be with you here. It's finally a beautiful Friday again. Last week we were in, some of the rare inclement weather that Las Vegas tends to see. It kind of poured down buckets of rain, let back up, kind of came back down. And I think we're both glad to see it sunny, beautiful, like it should be here.
You know, I saw a funny thing on Facebook this morning. It was arrangement of 4 plastic chairs and a little plastic table sitting on a lawn in a very serene setting. And then one of the chairs was tipped over, and it says, "Oh, oops, another major storm hit Las Vegas."
Yes, thank you. And it is those kinds of harsh climate realities.
It was one of our worst winters ever.
Yeah, listen,
we're very fortunate.
We are very fortunate. But again, this everything in life is a choice, just like many of the hosts here on KDWN talk about. You choose your places in life, and we chose Las Vegas for these reasons because we don't want to have to be bombarded with snow, rain, and all sorts of other, unfathomably inclement weather. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. Now, right now, we do have Ray on the line with us. I'd like to crack open the gun vault, if I could.
Home protection can be a great investment. Welcome to the Gun Vault.
All right, and Ray, you are joining us here on our Subway Fresh Take Hotline inside the Gun Vault. Ray is the resident firearms expert down at the world-famous Max Pawn located at 6040 West Sahara Avenue. Ray, thanks for joining us today on the program. How is everything down there while Michael's away? You keeping the store safe?
We are busy. We have people at the counter, people doing loans, people buying things. We're hustling down here. It's nice to see.
Well, Ray, I know that we're in good hands with having you down there. Now, Dave, as you know, Ray is a retired officer. How many years, Ray, did you spend on the Metro's force?
35 years.
35 years. And, we were talking earlier on Live in Las Vegas about some of the shootings. They had the shooting over at one of the bars.
It was at Dottie's up on Rancho, yeah.
Right. I wanted to get your opinion first, Ray. Being a veteran officer, I know you've been in many tough situations. What's your opinion on, don't you feel for these officers that are on the force today with choices on when you pull your gun out and when you shoot your weapon?
I had a captain one time, a long time ago, ask. We were sitting in debriefing at the end of the shift, and we were talking about guns and firearms and that type of thing, and using them in the line of duty. And he had asked me. He says, "What's the big deal about guns?" I don't know if he didn't understand the concept, and for some reason this thought popped into my head, and I told him, and it kind of took him by surprise. I said, "It's the weapon or tool we carry all of our careers. We will use it the least, but when you do, it carries the gravest consequences."
So well said.
And that's as simply put as I can put it. Most officers will point their gun, but fortunately, not that many. And more lately, it seems, in the last 5 or 10 years, are getting in shootings. But because of the type of criminals that officers are now encountering, like Michael said earlier, they just don't care. Police officer doesn't mean anything except you're in my way of getting free. And I was reading an article right before I got on the phone with you guys. It was on my phone. And a kid in Seattle, teenager, shot a guy over his phone and then complained after he killed the guy that it wasn't a good quality phone.
Wow.
I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, that's the type of mentality. You just kind of shrug your shoulders and go, you can't fix that. It's broken. You can't fix it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, Ray. What I see is people are becoming less and less sensitive and emotionally attached to life in general.
Exactly.
When you're playing these video games and you're shooting up Call of Duty and you're blasting away 400 guys and going through rooms, I think it just becomes part of who these young children are becoming, and it's so sad.
It's interesting, and if Ray, you were listening to the whole program on Live Las Vegas, my thought behind a lot of this, and before it gets into a majorly long discussion, is that it's a societal problem. I mean, the means and mechanisms are no more or less available in most of the industrialized countries. It becomes a societal issue where, and take in France, for example, you don't have legal mixed martial arts like we have the UFC here, but you do have legal softcore porn on television. Now, some people might argue that that's counterintuitive, but if you look at the principles of love and violence, I think I would be more comfortable with seeing people share love than decapitation in public specter.
There's it's a whole myriad of things, Dave. I raised 3 daughters here full time for 12 years, and challenging, yes, but it was my job. That's what I signed on for, and I was a full-time dad for 12 years, and there's a lot of parents who are stuck doing that. And my my youngest one's a police officer. The middle one, her and her husband live back in the southeast, and they work for a church. They're teachers in a Christian school, and the oldest one and her husband own their own business here in Las Vegas. So you can raise kids in an environment like this, but you have to pay attention. It's like I tell people, you don't get a second shot at raising your kids. You get one chance. And if you screw it up, everybody pays for it, one way or another. And, and I would tell these kids in playing video games, that I'd encounter when I was working, that, you shoot somebody, you don't hit a reset button and they jump up and start over again. It's done. Once that bullet leaves the end of that barrel, it is no different than taking a car and cranking it up to 120 miles an hour and trying to stop it in 50 feet.
Well,
once that bullet leaves that barrel, there's no calling it back. There's no crying, I'm sorry. Nothing stops that bullet except whatever gets in its way. And people have to realize that, and parents have an obligation. You have to train, familiarize your kids with firearms. You're going to have them. Don't let it be a curiosity thing. Let them understand what it is, the seriousness of it. And then lock them up when they're not being used. And I was talking to Dawn, one of our managers here, and she does a lot of the gun stuff too. And she made a good point, saying, if you're off season and you're a hunter and you're not off season, you could use a little extra cash. We have a huge gun vault here that's absolutely secure that we store our firearms in. Bring it in, get a loan, let it stay here safe and clean and a dry atmosphere, and then, use the money for something you can use, and then when it's hunting season, come back and get it, That's just one option.
Well,
have a safe at home.
Ray, we talk about that all the time where whether you're a gun enthusiast, you're a hunter, what better place if you're going on vacation, maybe you've moved into a new neighborhood, you don't know who your neighbors are. It's no better place than to come and store your gun at Max Pawn. You can get a small loan, $10, $20, $30. Maybe you need some money, get some money on it, and store it, like you say, in a safe, healthy, dry environment. And then when you want to go shooting, you can come pick it up. We're open 7 days a week, 9 to 6, so that's convenient.
Yep.
And we're right in the center of town. We're right down the street from American Shooters, which is one of the best shooting ranges right here in Las Vegas.
Absolutely, and the only thing I would advocate, to people when they're bringing their guns in. Last week we had a gentleman bring a pistol in, and I try some of the people aren't as familiar with firearms that work in our store, trying to familiarize them as much as we can as time goes by, so that they're able to safely handle firearms when they come in and when they release them. A gentleman brought a gun in. I saw him walking towards one of our female employees, and I looked at her and she nodded, and I walked over and I kind of intercepted him at the counter, and we asked, was the gun loaded or unloaded, and he just kind of mumbled something and didn't say nothing intelligible that we could understand. He pulls the pistol out and inadvertently points it right at my chest.
Not a good thing.
And I kind of pushed the gun away. He kind of pushed it back, and I kind of gently removed it from his hands, and it was loaded. It was loaded with 15 rounds of ammunition.
Wow.
There's basic safety rules that people need to understand with firearms. Number one, guns are always loaded. You always treat a firearm like it's loaded, because there's a lot of people who've been shot by supposedly unloaded firearms. And the second one is never point a gun at something you're not willing to shoot.
Self-preservation.
Always make sure you're back.
Yes.
Yeah, always make sure you're backdrop.
Well,
if you're going to take a shot, a lot of people have been shot accidentally on hunting trips. So those safety issues, but you can't bring a firearm in. Just unload the gun, make sure it's unloaded. I've had situations here at Max Pawn where somebody came in and says, I have a gun, my husband passed away, and I have a couple of firearms that I don't feel good about. I want to sell them, but I'm afraid of them. They're in the trunk of my car. I'll walk out. I walk out to the car. I'll make sure they're unloaded. I have no problem doing that. We accommodate people all the time doing that. I'll help them bring them in. It's just we want to make it a safe environment, a fun environment for people, and that nobody gets hurt. So, it's safety. I truly believe that honest citizens should be able to own firearms, protect themselves, but it has to be done in a safe manner where no one innocent gets hurt.
Well, Ray, I appreciate all the great stuff you have to share, and we'd love to have you back on the Gun Vault again. And Ray, not only do you provide a great service to Max Pawn and the safety of our employees and all our customers, because it's kind of an interesting thing at Max Pawn. We got all mixes of life. You might come in and get a loan on a 357. You might walk out with a Louis Vuitton bag. So we have a mixture of clientele. Hey, Ray, before you go, I have one quick question.
Okay.
Dave and I talk about values a lot on the show, and then we compare valuations. And one of the valuation comparisons we were talking about today is gold to guns. And where do you think the gun values have been in the last, let's say, 12 months? And then Dave and I will follow up after this with the values of gold.
Okay. Anytime there is legislation introduced by the House or the Senate to restrict firearms, restrict ammunition, anytime that the public feel that there's a threat to what they own or what they'll be able to purchase in the form of firearms or ammunition, there's always a rush to buy. Okay, so gun values will go up. They become harder to come by, and you pay more for them. It's a supply and demand thing. And then when some of that will die down, then they become more readily available, and they become a little less valuable. They don't lose much value, but they don't have the overvalue that they have in a panic situation where people think they're going to lose their firearms and won't be able to get ammunition or guns. And that's basically what happens. It's a supply and demand, economics, and governmental perceived controls.
That's right. And I think there was a false valuation actually out there when you were seeing AR-15s going for $2,500 when they're a $900 weapon.
Well, it's the same thing happened with the Brady bill. Everybody, was panic-stricken that they're not going to be able to get firearms. Hunters, security people, law enforcement, where they wouldn't be able to purchase firearms or wouldn't be able to get to them because of perceived, legislation. And it had just the opposite effect that I think these legislators were trying to do.
Yeah, well,
There were, you couldn't get in line at gun shows. You couldn't. I mean, it was pandemonium at gun stores. You'd wait an hour and a half just to be waited on if you walked into a local gun store here in town.
Well, Ray, and you know, I hate to go back to my oldest philosophical adage here, and that it's all about the money, baby. And if you look at the business behind, firearms manufacturers, distributions, it's a big business, and creating some false fire does a bit of good for business. Now, I'm not saying that's always what happens, but believe me, we know that one hand washes the other. It's been fantastic, though, Ray. Having you on, your perspective is invaluable for us here on Pawn Talk Live. And again, we will have you back here in the coming weeks on our Gun Vault. Guys, we have to step away, take our next break here, and a look at traffic here on News Talk 720 KDWN. When we come back, we've got Tony Gallo, security expert online. Listen to Pawn Talk Live.
A new day, new dawn. News Talk 720 KDWN, the dawn of today's talk radio. News Talk 720 KDWN, where locals come to talk. Your voice is heard on the Alan Stock Show, weekdays 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Only on News Talk 720 KDWN and streaming online at KDWN.com.
AP Update, I'm Diane Kepley. Attempted murder charges have been filed against a woman who drove her van into the ocean in Florida.
32-year-old Ebony Wilkerson was arrested at the health center where she completed a mental evaluation. Volusia County Sheriff Ben Johnson says Wilkerson claims she was trying to drive out of the surf, but that's not what their investigation showed.
All the witnesses countered that, saying she was trying to drive into the surf and her son was actually trying to fight her for the steering wheel.
Wilkerson is set to make a first court appearance Saturday. Officials said she had moved to Florida to get away from an abusive relationship, and the children are currently in state custody. Tony Winton, Miami.
Just hours before Ebony Wilkerson drove into the water, her sister did call police, saying Wilkerson had talked about demons. After that call, police officers stopped the woman's black Honda Odyssey before it got to the beach. She told them she was afraid her husband would come to Florida to hurt her and her children. The police report says the children were sitting quietly in the van and showed no sign of distress. AP Update, I'm Diane Kepley.
The news brought to you by American Red Cross. Survivors of disasters urgently need your help. Donate to American Red Cross Disaster Relief. Visit redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Every dollar you can spare means so much.
It's 2:32 in the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. We're starting to see some slow traffic flows already through the Spaghetti Bowl, mainly on US 95. Also, Interstate 15 northbound slowing down just a tad as people are heading out to the Speedway to check out today's festivities. We do have a couple of injury accidents. Alexander at Studio, Charleston at Cimarron. A hit and run, that's Lone Mountain at Rancho. And a traffic situation, Decatur at Lake Mead. For the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
From Gentlemen Start Your Engines to the checkered flag, NASCAR is back on the air in Las Vegas on News Talk 720 KDWN. This Sunday, March 9th, you can hear the Cobalt 400 live from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The broadcast begins at noon.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of the Phil's Gang Show. I'm back. That's right, back on Las Vegas. Be sure to catch the Phil's Gang Show weekdays 12 noon to 1 p.m. right here on 720 KDWN. The Phil's Gang Show, 12 noon to 1 p.m. on Las Vegas, 720 KDWN.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
Owning and caring for a home comes with a lot of to-dos. Tune up the furnace, clean the gutters, remodel the kitchen. Whatever your home improvement need, Home Advisor can help you find a pro you can trust to get the job done right. Go to home.homeadvisor.com for instant access to top-rated pros in your area, including electricians, handymen, plumbers, whatever type of home pro you need. And Home Advisor is absolutely free to use. At Home Advisor, you don't have to search through a long list of pros. With just a few clicks, Home Advisor matches you with pros who provide the exact services you need. You can read customer reviews of the pros, even use the cost guide to find out what hundreds of other home projects cost in your area. And because Home Advisor knows it's important to find a pro you can trust in your home, they conduct background checks on their service professionals. It's just one of the reasons more than 25 million homeowners have used Home Advisor. Go to home.homeadvisor.com to find the right pro for your project. That's home.homeadvisor.com.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave Carney, joined by the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn and my co-host with the most, Mr. Michael Mack. And again, the Subway Fresh Take Hotline is absolutely open for the next half an hour. We do have a big interview here coming up online. We've got Tony Gallo, security expert here, is going to be joining us in just a minute. But we are keeping the Subway Fresh Take Hotline open for you to join us here on the show, 257-5396, 257-KDWN. So if you have got valuables, maybe hidden treasures, heirlooms, or you're looking to start moving some of that stuff out of your life, maybe you're in a position of transition and you're ready to downsize a little bit, call us right now at 257-5396. Michael Mack, fourth-generation pawnbroker, is a great resource for us here in the Valley, guys. He can help us find really the true value of our items, not the value that somebody's trying to skin us, out of our, or fleece us, I should say, out of our goods, but somebody that's going to help us find the true value. And even if Michael doesn't buy it, he will refer you to somebody else that will. Now, with that being said, Michael, you're putting on, in association with a couple of other really fantastic folks here in the Valley, the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow. It's coming up to us March 30th through April 1st. That's Sunday through Tuesday down at the Palace Station Hotel Casino, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Free admission to the public. And Michael, again, if you've got estate stuff, maybe you're looking to downsize, this is a one-stop shop. You can have, certified buyers on hand, ready to make you cash offers.
And this is exactly what I think the Valley's been looking for. It's a free event. You can bring down your stuff. It's open all day long from 10 to 5 on these 3 days. If you have any tax liabilities potentially that are coming up, you may want to take care of. You might have a fine piece of art. You might have a piece of Art Nouveau. Might have a Tiffany lamp possibly at home. You never know. And there's a lot of people out there that shop garage sales, swap meets. They hit these thrift stores. And you may have found something that you think has some value. Well, this is the perfect place. If you can't make it down to Max Pawn, we do this every day. But if this is a venue where it's going to be very safe, it's not. There's no commitment to sell, like you say. You can come down and get the free evaluation, and we'll be there for the 3 days at Palace Station, which is just a great location here in the Valley.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And like you mentioned, Michael, one of your partners in this event is bringing with him over $2 million in cash on hand to buy items from the folks out here in the Las Vegas Valley. And with such a great eclectic mixture of people from around the country and around the world right here in the Las Vegas Valley, the kinds of goods that you're going to find at the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow are going to be fantastic. So even from a spectator standpoint here, again, the admission is absolutely free to the public. So if you've got any interest in collectibles of any kind, get on down March 30th through April 1st, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Really, really fun stuff. Now, again, Subway Fresh Take Hotline still open, 257-5396, 257-KDWN. And like Michael mentioned earlier in the program, if you weren't with us, every one of our callers today is a prize winner. We have got a Max Pawn treasure chest down there at 6040 West Sahara, which is going to be opened up for you to pick the prize of your choice. And we're going to take Barry, who is online with us right now. Barry, looks like you have got a picnic basket. Barry, thanks so much for joining the program. How are you today?
I'm fine. I have a picnic basket that's off the Queen Elizabeth I.
Oh, wow. Great. That's a real picnic basket.
Yeah, it's got all the dishes and all the silverware and everything that it came with. The only problem it has, and I don't know whether I should go have it restored or not, is the leather straps have rotted. They go around it. But everything else is in perfect shape.
Well, Barry, what would you say the age of this item is? It came off the Queen Elizabeth, so this is not the QE1. This is a QE1, right?
QE1, correct.
What would you think the time frame?
Well, that was what, in the 20s,
right?
30s.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you what, don't touch it, number one, because it could hinder the value. It sounds like a really cool item. I'd love to see it. So, of course, you're more than welcome to bring it to our State Buyers Roadshow at the end of the month, but we're open every day at Max Pawn, every day, 9 to 6, and bring it down. I'd be happy to evaluate it, look it up, and see what it's worth.
Well, and let me ask you here, Barry, how did you come in possession of this item here? Because as I'm looking up a little history of the Queen Elizabeth I, what a grand ship this was. How did you acquire this picnic basket?
My brother gave it to me as a gift. A woman gave it to him as a gift.
Wow.
And I collect kind of marine memorabilia and stuff like that. I'm involved with the submarine service. Anyway, he gave it to me because I had my eye on it for a long time. So that's how I acquired it.
Well, I'd love to see it. So if you could bring it down, Barry, and of course for calling in, you get a free prize. And love to meet you anyways and take a look at this great item.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And before we let Barry go, though, Michael, I mean, you look at something from the 20s or 30s. I mean, you know, in a ballpark frame, if this was what kind of condition, Barry? I mean, I know the leather is worn. Would this be in moderate, you know, to fair condition? Where would you estimate that at?
I would say good condition to excellent.
Okay.
It doesn't have any scrapes or anything. It doesn't look like it doesn't appear like it was used a lot. They use these for people when they went out on the deck in the deck chairs.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I'm just like I was saying, a quick look here online, and I know Michael can do some more research. I mean, any item from the Queen Elizabeth ships, I mean, you know, from hundreds to thousands and upper thousands of dollars. So, I mean, really great piece. And thanks so much for the phone call, Barry. This is exactly what we're looking for here on the show, is to hear about stuff like this. So, like we mentioned, 6040 West Sahara is the address for Max Pawn. It used to be in the Madman Army Supply Store warehouse, so you can't miss it if you've driven around Las Vegas for any length of time. But bring the item, or at least a picture of the item, down there and show it to them. They'll be able to do some more research and find out the true price for this. And like Michael has done for many of the folks that have listened to the program throughout the years, these kinds of things could be best suited for consignment, Barry, where there is such a great niche of collectors and investors for these types of programs and properties that once they get put up online, they can fetch unbelievably high amounts of money. So a really great product. And again, thanks so much for calling to the show, man.
Thank you. Good to talk to you.
All right, Barry. Yeah, go down and see the guys at Max Pawn 6040 West Sahara. Michael, this is exactly what we talk about. When we solicit phone calls on the program, we want to hear about these cool historical items that are sometimes just, you know, in people's possession. It was, you know, given to him by his brother, and then a lady gave it to his brother before that. So before we get into our interview with Tony Gallo, our securities expert, we're going to take another phone call here on the Subway Fresh Take hotline. We've got Ron online with us. Ron, you've got some silver coins, it looks like. Thank you for joining the program. How are you?
Hello, Mike and Dave. How are you? I have some commemorative coins that around the edge they're marked 1 ounce pure silver, 99.99 fine. Being that it's marked 1 ounce, naturally there's grams. What's the difference? Would it be 12 grams for an ounce, or is it 28 grams for an ounce?
No, there's 31, Ron. There's 31.1 grams in an ounce. And what happens out there in the marketplace is a lot of the old coin dealers deal in pennyweight, and pennyweight is less. And I think in pennyweight it could be like 12.5 pennyweight. And so when you're out there, if you're selling your silver or looking to get a price on silver, always talk grams, and you'll always be in good shape. But there's 31.1 grams. I think silver closed about $21 an ounce. So you at the least you have about $21 per coin there.
Okay, all right. Okay, so if it says like 1 pure ounce, and silver's going for like say $21 an ounce, that's pretty much in the ballpark, right?
That's it. And then of course it has a rare value, a numismatic value, is where coins go up in value. But my take on it, Ron, right now is I would hang on to your silver unless you need the money. Hang on to it, because I think silver is going to go for a little ride.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right,
yeah,
Ron.
Thanks so much,
Have a
Ron.
good afternoon.
All right,
bye-bye.
You as well. And, you know, again, great phone calls there. Barry and Ron, really, really superb questions. But you're right, Michael. I mean, silver today in our precious metals report, which we're going to hear around the cluster later, silver's at $20.95 an ounce. And I'm with you. I kind of think silver's on the bump back up. I mean, we know the gold mining business has taken a bit of a slowdown. Silver is still producing. But if they slow down that business as well, you know, silver could really be looking at an uptick here.
Well, with the turmoil that's going on around the world and the uncertainty, I always say that, precious metals are a sound investment.
Yeah, no, they absolutely. Precious metals, guns, real estate. I'll go with the 3 tried and true ones. All right, we're going to step away, take our final look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. Great show today. When we come back, security expert Tony Gallo online with us. Stay tuned to KDWN 720 AM.
It is 2:44 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. We do have some good news sort of on the freeways. No incidents right now, but slow traffic flows. That's on US 95 through the Spaghetti Bowl. Got a couple of entry accidents. Alexander at Studio, Charleston at Cimarron, Eastern at Harris, and that hit and run, Lone Mountain, that is at Rancho. For the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
When it's go time, when it's time to put the pedal to the metal, NASCAR drivers and Baja 1000 drivers alike both trust the legendary performance and reliability of Goodyear tires. And now Vegas drivers can get that same performance and reliability on their own cars and trucks, because Ted Weens now carries the full line of world-class Goodyear tires. Goodyear Eagle tires, Goodyear Wrangler tires, all mounted by real ASE certified mechanics for when it's your go time, because Ted Weens really does care. The slightly obsessive ASE certified mechanics at Ted Weens are now carefully mounting Goodyear Eagle tires on deserving cars and Goodyear Wrangler tires on some lucky trucks. In fact, Ted Weens, that place you see all over town, now carries the full line of world-class Goodyear car and truck tires. So if you live in Las Vegas and you want the quality and performance Goodyear tires are famous for, well, now you know where to go find them. Ted Weens, because we really do care.
If you're looking to lower your mortgage payments and been turned down elsewhere, you need to listen to Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels this Sunday from 6 to 7 a.m. Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels here on News Talk 720 KDWN. If your home was built before 2004, you could be paying way too much on your energy bills. How can you find out if you are? By getting a free home energy evaluation from Be Green Energy. Call 702-25-GREEN to schedule your free appointment. Have your home inspected by a licensed local Las Vegas contractor, Be Green Energy, to find out how you can save on your energy bills. Also find out about current rebates available from NV Energy and the government to help make your home more energy efficient. In fact, how you can make your home Energy Star certified. Stop overpaying on your energy bill one more day by calling 702-25-GREEN or go to 25green.com. Does NV Energy really deserve more money? Really? Call for your free home inspection and learn how rebates that are currently available can help you cut your energy bills by 25, 35, even 55%. Call Be Green now at 702-25-GREEN or go to 25green.com.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. I'm Dave Carney, joined by the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn here in Las Vegas, and my co-host with the most for Pawn Talk Live every Friday from 2 to 3 on KDWN, Michael Mack. Now, Michael, great stuff here on the Subway Fresh Take hotline. Awesome calls all day long here, and some that we couldn't actually get to today. But again, the Subway Fresh Take hotline been wide open. Great stuff.
Well, Dave, and those calls were so good that I actually am going to give a Subway lunch to both those callers, and any other caller that calls in today, I'm going to give a Subway lunch. So we want to hear from you. We only have a few minutes left, and I know we have Tony on the line, and I'm looking forward to talking to Tony.
All right, so for all of our callers at 257-5396, 257-KDWN, you probably won't get on air with us here, but our board op, Angie, will take your name, and if you do call us within the next 10 minutes, we will put you down on the winner's sheet for one of the prizes, courtesy of Beasley Broadcasting and, of course, the world-famous Max Pawn. Now, as you had mentioned, Michael, and we've been talking about it all afternoon, we've got security expert Tony Gallo online with us. And Tony, really appreciate you staying on with us a little bit longer than you had anticipated. We got a little bit backed up with some phone calls, but your experience, as Michael alluded to earlier in the show, speaks for itself. You spent over 20 years with the Easy Corp franchise as their security liaison. Now, Tony, what are you doing now in the security field?
Currently, what I've decided to do is I've opened up my own loss prevention consulting company, and it is geared mainly towards the independent pawnbroker. One of the needs that I've seen over the 20 years that I've been involved in pawn shop loss prevention is that the independent really doesn't have anyone he can turn to when he has loss prevention or security questions or concerns to help him along the way. He has a lot of resources when it comes to loaning or to scrapping gold or how to grow his PLO. But when it comes to the actual part of how am I going to protect my customers, how am I going to protect my assets at the stores, especially the way the things are going on now with gold prices increasing, robberies continue to increase, internal thefts continue to increase. So there's a need there for that independent of having someone that he can come to and get some advice on how to better protect his assets and his customers and his employees.
Well, Tony, it's great to have you on. How's the weather down there in Austin, Texas today?
The weather has gotten a lot better in Texas. We don't do very well, just like in Las Vegas, when it gets cold. So we've been cold challenged.
All right. Well, it's great to have you on. Tony and I, Dave, have been friends for years, and we stay in touch. And Tony just retired from Easy Corp after a long tenure with Easy Corp and did a wonderful job as their loss prevention expert. And I think one thing that Tony and I have always eye to eye is the respect for loss prevention and the education that we give forward to our employees and to our associates and managers and owners. And it didn't take much coaxing into having Tony on our show today, and as soon as Tony told me about his new business, which I'm going to have you explain, Tony, some of the facets that you offer, I said, sign me up for whatever you have, because whatever you're selling, and you gave me the prices, it was way too cheap.
Yeah, so Tony, walk us through a little bit of the internal loss prevention, because you just mentioned here that's part of your business core. There's so many businesses out here in Las Vegas, especially that have to deal with a high amount of internal theft. So tell us, how do you guys combat some of that internal theft?
I think the key to any good loss prevention program is being able to communicate your program and what your efforts are with not only your employees, but also for customers or potential thieves that are going to come into your store. And I'll give you a perfect example. I deal a lot with independents who feel that their security is the gun that's on their hip. Now, I don't have an issue if you're going to carry a gun on your hip. Where I have the issue is put a sign outside that says, I have a gun on my hip. Because remember what the core business of a pawnbroker is. He's in the business to make money. He's in the business to service customers and service their loans, in addition to sell merchandise. He's not in the business to be in a cops and robbers situation or to have bad people come into his store. He wants those people to go somewhere else. So what we do is we work with the independents, we work with these pawnbrokers, and we help them educate, not only communicate to their employees about not stealing or communicate how to look for dishonest people, but we also communicate to the general public that it's not worth coming into shoplift, and more important, it's not worth coming into robbery. We've designed this robbery training program, which I have not seen it in the 20 years I've been in the pawn security field. And what the program is, it's an online based program. It's a 15-minute video. The employees can take it online at their leisure. They take a 15-question quiz. They pass that quiz, and in turn, they get a certification. It's so important to educate employees on how to act, not only from a business point of view. You teach them how to gauge diamonds, and you teach them how to weigh gold, and you teach them how to loan on electronics. But no one teaches them, how do you act when you see a shoplifter? Or how do you act when there is a robbery that may occur? And this program educates them to the point where the insurance agencies have recognized that, and they give a discount to the stores, much like you would if you took a defensive driving course.
Tony, I think this is all excellent. And if you could, please give our listeners your phone number, your website, and how do they get a hold of you? Because we have listeners out there, and you're not limited just to pawn shops, buy and sells, antique stores, consignment shops. You're all appropriate businesses for this for Tony. So give that information up.
So the name of my company is Sapphire Protection. Our email address is www.sapphireprotection.com, and our phone number is 512-422-7600. And again, like you said, the programs are really designed for the small retailer. If you're a jewelry store person, this is a perfect program. If you're a convenience store person, if you're in a liquor store business, if you're in the pawn shop, it addresses, because if you look at those levels of business, you all have the same issues. You all have the same problems to one extent or another. If it's not gold, it's liquor. If it's not liquor, it could be jewelry. But it all falls into, and everyone has a large amount of cash on hand.
You know, Tony, you say something that just I preach and practice every day. What we do in the pawn business, we weigh gold, we look at diamonds. Pretty much, I do what every pawn shop in the United States does. The only difference I think that I have as a competitive advantage is that we try to offer great customer service. And one of the things we talk about daily in our store at Max Pawn is that we try to treat the person that has the worst situation the best. So if someone comes into our store and has an item that we wouldn't take, it's a broken, they have a broken PlayStation 3 and we can't take it. Many of my competitors will just kind of shoo them out the door. And one of the things I say, Tony, you probably will agree with me, is that person that I shoo away could be the guy that comes back and robs me. And so we try to treat every single person with kindness and caring, and because we talk about robbery, we talk about robbery prevention, we talk about situational, and of course, you know that I'm signing every single one of my employees up for your program, but I think it's so important to be compassionate in our pawn business to those that come to us in short-term needs of cash and not treating them bad, because you feel bad enough coming to a pawn shop. And I always say that, the person that walks out of my store could be the person that comes back and robs us, because they have choices. And the choices are they can go to the 7-Eleven, they can go to the Taco Bell across the street, they could go to other check cashing places, and hopefully they'll say, hey, that guy at Max Pawn was pretty nice. I'm not going to go in there and rob the place. I don't know if you agree with that philosophy, but as a business owner, that's how we feel.
Michael, you hit the nail on the head. If you look at any loss prevention program, and you said, what's the number one thing you can do to prevent losses from occurring in my store, whether it's a shoplifter or a robbery, it's good customer service. In fact, I wrote an article in the National Pawnbroker magazine, I think 2 editions ago, addressing exactly that. You give someone good customer service. I like to call it, you treat them with respect, especially a pawn customer. A lot of those customers aren't treated with respect out there in society. You treat them with respect. You come up to them on the sales floor and you give them good customer service. If they were thinking of stealing, there's a good chance that they're either going to walk out of that store, or they're not going to steal, and they're going to change their mind. And that's exactly what we preach is good customer service is going to cure so many problems down the line. And I see it all the time. When I watch videos of robberies in a pawn shop, one of the constants that I always see is they come in, they're walking around the store for a good several minutes. No one's ever approached them. They're setting up, they're getting in the corners where they need to be, or they're at the jewelry case and they were going to do a smash and grab on the jewelry case. They've had time where no one has even approached them on the floor to see if they needed any help, to see if they could give them any service.
Well, and you know what's great about Michael's store out here in Las Vegas? We talked to his resident gun expert, Ray. Ray also carries a very intimidating firearm on his holster and isn't afraid to approach anybody at any time during a transaction. Now, unfortunately, Tony, we have got to go. This has been a fast-paced, exciting, and fun-filled Pawn Talk Live, and we hope to have you back on with us again sometime in the future. Again, the website to reach Tony, SapphireProtection.com, or give them a call, 512-422-7600. For Michael Mack, I'm Dave Carney. We'll see you guys back here next Friday on Pawn Talk Live.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous Max Pawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, Max Pawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at maxpawnlv.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous Max Pawn, where luxury meets value.
Brislin Live for the best in political talk Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. John Brislin hits hard and tells it like it is. The only way to turn double talk into straight talk. Call in Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. with John Brislin Live on Newstalk 720 KDWN.
On Saturday, March 22nd, the Las Vegas desert will be the stage for the world's largest anti-bullying event, Bully X's Bully X. Join people from all over the world to X out bullying by standing up and submitting your own personal message of strength, hope, and positivity. Legacy X's mission is to create a safe place where people can find their true selves, inspire change, and leave a lasting and positive